Every single day, hundreds of fully loaded semi-trucks pull off ordinary Midwestern highways and drive directly into the earth. This physical migration feeds into a hidden network that solves one of the most volatile problems in the modern supply chain. These drivers are entering a subterranean city that spans over 3 million square feet, a climate-controlled metropolis carved out of solid limestone. Down in the dark, there are miles of 2-lane highways, active commercial rail lines, and hundreds of workers. This is the machine behind the magic of your local grocery store, built upon the structural geometry of the Earth itself. To understand why a sprawling underground logistics city even exists, look at the physical problem of the surface world. Above ground, a cold storage warehouse is in a constant war with the environment. Summer sun beats down on acres of metal roofing, forcing industrial air conditioning to run at maximum capacity, while winter freezing threatens sensitive products. This line graph shows that when the power grid fails, the internal temperature of a surface warehouse spikes within hours. In this fragile system, millions of dollars of food and protected materials can spoil the moment the electricity stops. It is a system heavily dependent on an unbroken power supply. Bypassing these surface-level vulnerabilities requires moving away from the volatile atmosphere and into the stable thermal mass of the Earth. Underground, the Earth's natural mass acts as a geological buffer. Protected by millions of tons of limestone and dirt, the ambient temperature stays locked at 62 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. It does not matter if there is a blizzard or a 100-degree heat wave on the surface. The temperature inside the cave simply does not shift. For logistics companies, half the battle is already won by geology. For goods that just need to stay between 32 and 90 degrees, the facility doesn't need to run traditional heating or air conditioning at all. And for deep freeze units, the energy required to drop a room from 62 degrees down to sub-zero is a mere fraction of the cost of starting at 90 degrees on the surface. This graph compares a total power loss in both environments. Notice the stable line on the bottom. Because of the limestone's thermal mass, it takes 2 full days for the temperature in these cold storage zones to rise by even a single degree. This buffer prevents catastrophic operational failure. By relocating underground, companies use geology to do the heavy lifting of climate control. This diagram illustrates room and pillar mining. Miners intentionally left massive rock columns in place to hold up the earth above. This unusually thick seam allowed for 50-foot ceilings. That extreme vertical clearance lets companies stack product incredibly high between the pillars. However, the scale and depth create a specific challenge. How do you manage 700 trucks a day in a labyrinth where GPS and cell signals instantly die? To prevent a subterranean traffic jam, the facility relies on analog routing. Bright, color-coded signage leads drivers through the tunnels, while a visible command center near the entrance serves as a marker for emergency responders who cannot rely on traditional radios to pierce the rock. Operating inside an electromagnetic dead zone forces a highly advanced supply chain to rely on strictly physical, line-of-sight infrastructure. It's not just trucks moving through these tunnels. An active commercial rail line runs directly into the cave system, where bulk materials are mechanically transferred between trucks and rail hoppers in a subterranean transloading yard. Executing this transfer underground keeps commodities away from humidity spikes and weather. It has slashed the loading time for a semi-truck from an hour down to just 15 minutes, pushing freight to the coast faster and saving companies tens of thousands of dollars in trucking fees. But maintaining this space requires constant engineering. You aren't just managing loading docks, you are maintaining the structural integrity of the earth. Limestone pillars are strong, but rock naturally shifts and fractures over time. A maintenance crew constantly patrols the facility to map the health of the rock. When they identify a loose section, they use specialized excavators to scrape along the ceiling and bring the limestone down on a controlled schedule before it can become a hazard. Then there is the threat of water. Every time it rains on the surface, groundwater seeps through the porous rock toward the lowest point. Without intervention, this hub would slowly fill until it became a subterranean lake. This diagram illustrates the hydrological solution. The entire floor is tilted on a slight gradient, using gravity to feed water away from the roadways and into sumps. From there, industrial pumps continuously push the water back to the surface. Operating this logistics hub requires a relentless, continuous fight against the Earth's natural structural and hydrological forces. This is the hidden backbone of modern distribution, a 3 million square foot maze of limestone defined by thermodynamic management and active engineering. This invisible machinery is what allows the consumer experience to remain simple. You walk into a brightly lit supermarket and find the shelves perfectly stocked with cold produce and packaged goods. By retreating beneath the earth, this system bypasses the chaos of the surface. We have repurposed the sheer scale and geometry of the earth into a machine designed to keep the modern world running.